Hi, Chris Fox, Fox Construction, Tailored Custom Homes. We're here because we're trying to get you as much information as you need to be able to make an informed decision and to be able to be in the home that you really love and enjoy. Hey everybody, Chris Fox, Fox Homes, Tailored Custom Homes. I'm here with Levi Cotton, Premier Media Technology, and he does all the low voltage and the audio, speakers, TVs, the whole 9 yards, what makes your house sound good, not just be beautiful. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with our first question. For the homeowners who do not know what low voltage really means, how would you explain your role in a custom home and why it becomes such a big part of modern living?
In a custom home, you want to make sure that the lifestyle that you are living matches not only outside the house, but inside the house.
Right.
Because AV is not just audio and video, it's way more. Right. It's way more. It's from the networking to cameras to yes, TVs, yes, audio, right. But it's automation. So in the sense of automation, hey, you have one app, you press a button, you know, and it does just things for you. Roll up. Yeah, your shades roll up, yes. And I'm a big fan of not touching anything. So walk into a bathroom, my lights come on. Right. If there's a delay or anything, it's like, what's going on? Right. How do I rectify this? So getting in on the front end helps out a lot.
Oh, that's cool. Going off of that, so, I mean, you can fully automate a house and it gets like, you know, each little part and piece has a cost to it.
Yes.
But what are some of the more cost-effective things that if somebody came to you and said, look, I don't need a whole automated, I don't need the house to brush my teeth for me, but I want some of your more cost-effective, you know, items that you typically put above, you know, the TV and speakers. Like, what would be your suggestion?
The automation is not just a whole house. It definitely can be a whole house, backyard, everything you want to do, but it can also be tailored down to one single room. Like a bathroom or a peripheral bedroom, you might want to focus on a living room or a kitchen and a backyard. Because those are kind of if you're entertaining, you know, if you're having a party or whatever, people are going to come in, get drinks, do whatever, you know, they're going to congregate on the inside of the house, you know, the dudes might go smoke a cigar outside. Right. But you're still encompassed with that audio or that low music or whatever, or the lights, you know, they're not 100%, maybe they're 50%, where you're still having the conversation, it still feels good. And yes, you're at a lower budget because you didn't automate the entire thing, but you're you're focused on these areas that are important to you as a homeowner.
When a clients are building a new home, what are some of the coolest or most popular low voltage features that they're adding right now?
Cool factor is, again, with lighting, to me, it is that at dusk, dawn, midnight, whatever, your house just functions by itself because of the way that you live in it.
Right.
So again, back to the shades, you know, you can have your shades. If it's blackout or if it's a 3%, 5%, 10%, maybe it's, you know, at dusk, your shades go on the 10% shade, maybe it just goes down, and then when you go to bed and you press your good night button, which turns off all lights, locks your doors, sets your security system, you know, puts your house in good night mode, it drops your drapes down. So it's just the automated cool factor. Again, just doing the cool part of it is it does it by itself.
Right.
Yes. So it's all in programming.
We always see a lot of wiring being pulled during the build. Can you walk us through what all the wiring actually supports and why it's better to plan early instead of adding it after?
Okay, so if you do it after the fact, it's going to add a lot of labor intense. So if you do it before, get all that labor done. Let's say that you wanted to add a pair of speakers in your living room or your garage or your kitchen after the fact. Now I got to come in, your drywall's already up. I got to either get creative or, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I got to cut some holes to get the wire down to said location. Right. There is other solutions. Sonos has a good solution. Bose has a good solution with it's wireless. But yes, wireless does mean that it functions wirelessly, but you have to have a network, a good network, right, a strong network for it to actually function properly. Anything that can be hardwired is always better than a wireless signal. It's hardwired to my network, so I don't have to worry about it buffing or any of that content. Again, going back to we live in a world where we want our information now. And now we're finally in this area getting good internet speeds. We can actually get it immediately because it is hardwired. Not to knock off a a wireless connection, but a hardwired connection is always better.
From your perspective, what's the real value of a properly wired home versus a home that just relies on Wi-Fi and plug-and-play devices?
A wired solution is always better than a wireless solution, but yes, there is a lot of DIYs, and I'm not knocking those at all whatsoever, because it might not be in that said person's wheelhouse to, hey, I don't want to spend the money on this. But there's a lot of clientele out there that is like, no, I want it done and I want it done right. And when I want it done right, I not only don't want it done right, I want it to work every single time. That I don't want the having to call for a service call because my TV didn't come on. I want it to just work.
Well, in the situation like as our market, they have primary, secondary, and rentals. Rentals, you can't have a problem because you're going to get a bad review.
Yes.
So you've got to have, to some level of what you're talking about, not necessarily the full automation, but having stuff hardwired is going to be way better. Because if you don't have good Wi-Fi because of the roof, and you don't have the wireless access points, it's not going to work well. You're going to get bad reviews or not as many good reviews.
Correct.
And if somebody's using a secondary home, to what you're saying, somebody comes and they're only here, 1 to 20 weeks a year, whatever it ends up being. When they show up, they want the house to function.
Sure.
They don't want to go to their vacation home,
and have problems.
And have problems.
Yeah.
So no, I'm with you that it's that what was the commercial? Set it and forget it.
Yes.
Let's talk about rack and the equipment rooms and what makes a good rack system and why does the organization matter so much for long-term performance and servability.
A rack size is going to determine the amount of equipment that you have and serviceability and how it breathes. So you don't want to just stack equipment on itself because it's going to get hot. When it gets hot, yes, it can take some heat, but it's better if it is kind of separated out. That's the reason for the length of the wire, so that you can pull the rack out, turn it around, do what you need to do, and service it. That's the reason why we do what we do, because I don't like having connections, because that's just another variable in the equation for an issue. Right. So that, when we have a 10-foot tail coming out of the wall and your customer's like, what is this for? Right. The reason for the length is to just make a full connection from said equipment to said device, where there is no variables in said equation.
When do you typically recommend placing a low voltage rack, and what should homeowners think about when deciding on that location?
Especially if you're in a custom home, like we get a lot of set of plans, and nowadays we do have these architects are putting in like AV closets, and especially since COVID has happened, it's a need. And when I say a need, that's loosely used. It's expected to a degree of, hey, I want good internet, and it's not just good internet coming from your ISP. You want it not only coming from your ISP to your house, you want it to also be inside your house in these different locations. Now people were not able to do what they needed to do. They came down here and they had gotten away with having okay internet for their guests, but then when they're here, now they're working here for 6 months or 8 months or whatever it is, like, no, I want the good stuff in my house. Yes, I can pay the $100 or whatever it is from your ISP to get it to the house, but I also want it within.
When it comes to TVs, what size are homeowners choosing more often today? And are there certain brands that are outperforming others in custom homes? Like specifically, when somebody comes to you and says, I want an entire package, what are you going to say for like living room and bedrooms, and what brands are you really like pushing to the client because you feel like it's got the serviceability and the longevity?
So Sony and Leon right now are you familiar with a Samsung Frame TV?
I've seen the Frame TV.
So the Samsung Frame TV are very popular, and the ladies like them because they kind of disappear. You can put your art on there, you put a family picture, you customize it, however you want, and it does a job. So it does display a picture. Some guys are like, I really would like it a little bit sharper, but have that same aesthetic feeling of the TV not being there. So it doesn't, yes, it's a TV, but it doesn't look like a TV. So TCL, Sony, and Samsung are all doing those frame type installations or TVs.
Right.
TCL is kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. Sony's kind of on the higher end of the spectrum, and Samsung kind of falls kind of in the middle. But 65-inch TVs, 75-inch TVs are kind of where we're at with master bedroom, living room. They fall into those sizes, and it's not the women still like them because, and again, if they go away, when I say go away, they look like a piece of art, then hey, can I have an 85-inch TV there? It just looks like an 85-inch piece of art.
Right.
So they like it. And
Right.
because it does go away, it's tight to the wall, so it's not obtrusive where it sticks out, 6 inches or whatever. But yeah, 65, 75s is kind of that nice size for that kind of everybody gets, likes it, I guess, and the women like it.
When it comes to speakers and soundbars, what options do homeowners have today for clean, high-quality sounds without cluttering the room with equipment?
So again, going back to that box in the wall. So we usually do a 14 by 14 because the insides of studs measure out 14 inches.
Right.
So we'll recess that box, and these amps are so small now, they don't create a lot of heat. We'll actually put those in the wall also. With that said, that keeps it clean. These sound bars they pack a punch, and they're a little bit better than they used to be.
Right.
So yes, it's still a sound bar, and yes, I can identify it like, that's a sound bar. But we'll make them hug where the bottom of the TV touches the top of or almost touches the top of the speaker bar, just so it's a cleaner install. But if they wanted, to separate distance, there's ways to do that as well. Just again to keep it clean, all nice and tidy. Yeah,
cool.
Where you're not seeing wires and all that good stuff.
Audio is a big part of the experience. What are homeowners doing for the whole house audio, outdoor sound system, or media room that elevates the way they live in the house?
For a whole house audio solution, you could still do, I'm going to throw Sonos out there because they do, that's a household name. Everybody knows what Sonos is.
Yes.
And it's a pretty decent product. We install a lot of them. I can do some landscape speakers all around, a couple of subs, throw them in the ground, still on a Sonos app. And, as not a DIY, I guess you could do it as a DIY, but it's an easy, seamless thing. It's not automated at all. I have an app. I have my audio system. Yes, that's what I like. There's a lot of scenarios and solutions that you can do without going with automation. So
I gotcha.
It's seamless and it's scalable. So if you did want to implement that into an automation system, it's very easy to do too.
Okay.
So you can take your existing system and then still pull it into a control system with my door locks, my thermostat, my audio that I already have, my
Right.
lighting. So it's scalable.
That's cool. From the resale and future-proofing standpoint, what low voltage upgrades hold their value when making the home more attractive down the road?
So I would say, again, going back to the lighting, that's a big thing now. The lighting control is a big thing. Yes, audio is there, but it's not. TVs are there, but it's not. It's got a life expectancy. Cameras are a thing that people want as a, this is my second home, and I want to make sure that I can see or keep an eye on it.
Anybody that's got a view of the Gulf, that's one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about, is just getting that, because they want to have their home and they want to be able to have it. There was one that we did over on Wild Dunes, where I think they hired you after the fact to put the camera on the third floor, so that way he could see his Gulf view.
Yeah, and watching the storms come in, that's a pretty sight. And people jump on their camera app and just watch it roll in and roll out. It's a thing. Yeah. But as far as keeping the value of the house or kicking it up, lighting, that speakers aren't necessarily I'm going to buy the house because it has speakers in it, or I'm going to buy the house because there's TV on the wall. Right. The lighting is a thing, and cameras, security system, that kind of thing. It does. I wouldn't say it elevates the house, but it's an easier transition from one to the other because it's a peace of mind, I guess.
What are some of the common mistakes you see when low voltage planning is rushed or treated as an afterthought during construction?
If we can't get in front of the homeowner just to let them know what's available, because you don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
We've wired thousands of houses, asked the homeowner what they want. We don't want that right now. But as soon as they get to CO, where's my music? How do I listen to music? It would be a whole lot easier if we would have done this on the front side versus now we have to. It's more labor intensive, honestly.
And you're calling me and trying to get patches done and paint.
Yes, it's just to get it done right. Even if you just pre-wire it, at least the wire is there. You know where it's at. It's easier to just do stuff in that scenario on the backside if it's there versus trying to come up with a solution off the top of your head. Hey, yes, the answer is going to be yes, but I'm going to have to cut this out. We need to move this. It's just, and again, it's more labor intensive. It's just easier to do it up front.
Okay.
Way easier.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone building a custom home today, what would you prioritize in the low volt technology?
Honestly, it would be network. This industry is the last thing you think about when you are building a house, but it is the first thing you think about when you collect those keys.
Right.
The first thing. So
how's my internet going to work?
How's my internet going to work? Where can I play some tunes?
Right.
That is the first thing. So networking would be, if there is one thing that I would say to any homeowner that was coming in to a new build, or hey, let's give this some extra thought, networking.
Define that though, because I know what you're saying, but for somebody listening.
And when I say networking, pull that wire back to a centralized location. That's where your modem is going to sit. That's where your router is going to sit. That's where your network switch is going to sit or be installed. And all your access points are going to be hardwired to said network switch. Once that gets done, yes, you'll have that speed throughout their house. You know, given that that product can actually handle those speeds.
Right.
And if you don't have good network, it might delay you. It doesn't happen a lot, but yes, it does happen. It does happen. It's extreme.
No, I'm with you though. I'm with you. Well, I definitely appreciate you, coming by today and going over this with me. Again, it's Levi Cotton, Premier Media Technology, Fox Construction, Tailored Custom Homes. All right, take it easy.
Thanks.